Welcome back to the next session, the next chapter in From Nothing, Lorna's story. Now, last time you had sent Requiem out to search for a corrupted tree, something that looks as though it might be monstrous or out of place. As Folly had told you, the Gungdan tree could not grow soundly in the prime material plane. Instead, it would grow feral, as it was starved of the magic it needed to grow into the healthy, almost oak-like tree that it could be. And so at the beginning of this session, instead of looking through Lorna's perspective, we are looking through the eyes of Requiem in raven form as he flies over the town of Ferrum and the Allen Forest. So as I pull up the map here, these roads out of the chapel gate and the rain road, they dive into the forest. Roads are cut through the forest that lead west and northeast. But the Allen Forest is basically all around Ferrum in all directions, as the coast town has forced its way into existence, attached to the Merigard Academy. As Requiem is flying and scouting for this unusual tree, I'd like to know how it is that you would have had him search.
What I would have told him to look for? What the area he would cover? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
She would have told him far away from roads he could see, because it seems like if someone was using this plant to make drugs, especially nefarious ones, they wouldn't want it to be easy to stumble upon.
Okay. Then, for the first step of this, I'm going to have you roll a perception for Requiem and a D100.
Okay, let's see if I can make this work. Normal, non-advantage perception roll.
As a raven, he does not have advantage on sight-based perception, which he is very much looking with his eyes. A 13.
And you said a D100.
I did.
84.
Okay. With an 84 and a 13 on perception, Requiem begins immediately leaving here, near your tower room in the Merigard Academy. And he heads immediately southeast and then creating a pattern, basically heading up in this area to start.
Sweeping.
Yes. And as he searches, he goes quite a ways out. He flies over half a mile out from the edges of Ferrum, over the Allen Forest. And as he does, he sees all sorts of wildlife. He sees treetops that look as though a bit farther out into the forest, but what Requiem would recognize as evidence of a dragon's lair.
Oh.
A small one.
Okay.
But he would recognize that. There's no evidence of a corrupted tree, however. He doesn't see anything that looks as though it doesn't belong. He does not see hints of, tainted growth. And so that part of the sweep being finished, as he returns, he'll come back from the other side, and I need you to make that same roll again. Another perception and another percentile.
Even better.
In the percentile?
12.
Okay. He does as your instructions tell him. He looks through the Allen Forest, flying high overhead. He spends a good 45 minutes just sweeping back and forth, scanning. But he doesn't see any sign of tainted growth or a tree that doesn't belong. to be fair, he is looking at treetops,
Mm-hmm.
looking down at a forest. As he's returning to Ferrum, maybe a little disappointed that he didn't have anything to tell you that was good news or helpful, he'd be approaching the tower, and in your mind, you would hear, "I see no evidence of a corrupted tree. Lorna, would you like if I searched elsewhere?"
No, you can come back, Requiem. Thank you for looking.
Requiem will fly back through the wall into your room. Are you in there still?
Yeah, how long do you think that took?
An hour.
I would love to use Arcane Recovery to get back my expended spell slot.
Okay, yeah, you can do that.
Woo. I only have 2 of those, you know?
Yep.
Okay.
Level 1.
Sure am. Spell slot acquired. What did I tell you I wanted to do last week? I wrote it down.
That's good.
Oh, heck. Oh, it's right here on the floor where it belongs. Okay. Great. So yeah, she would have sat in that room in her pauper's clothes with, I'm sure, an Anscombe who's just loving every minute of this prolonged waiting period.
Over the waiting period, as time is passing and you're just waiting to hear from Requiem, Anscombe will have occupied himself by tending to his equipment.
Deliberately occupying himself, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, when Requiem returns, she will allow him to land on her hand, and she will look at Anscombe and say, "Well, he didn't find what we were looking for."
Anscombe kind of nods as he's looking down at one of the hand axes he was tending to, and he says, "Right, well, shit."
It's not so surprising. If someone was doing this for a malicious purpose, they wouldn't leave something like this out in the open, would they? They'd probably have it disguised or some sort of illusion. They're clearly capable of magic.
Yeah, probably. Also, would it really be out in the woods where there's the chance of, like, monsters or goblins or something like that?
Another fair point. I suppose we'll have to do this more personally.
I was worried you'd say that.
Really? I thought you were excited to.
I'm excited to have something as simple as a fight, but...
I hope it doesn't come to that, but I'll be relying on you in such case.
Well, I mean... I'm sure I can handle myself, but it can't all be on me.
Well, we'll just see how it goes.
Yeah. What's the plan?
First, what time is it?
It's early in the evening. It's about 4:30.
Okay, so Hallstrom said that the docks are a good bet, but he said that night is the best time to do it. We could go through the city, just looking, see if we come across anything that might bode well for our investigation, and when it gets a little darker, maybe 8, go to the docks and see if we can find some trouble.
All right, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay, I suppose let's just take a walk, shall we?
Yeah. Lead the way. I'll keep an eye out.
And she will look at Requiem and say, "Would you mind staying aboard a little bit longer? Just following us above?"
If that is how I can help.
It would be a great help. If you could just stay within 100 feet, but above.
I will watch.
If you see anything that I might find interesting or potentially dangerous, please let me know.
Okay.
Thank you. And she will release him.
Requiem as a raven doesn't fly quite like a raven would. He flaps his wings, but it's clearly not in synchronous to how fast he moves.
Are they slower?
It's not. It doesn't look as though he's using any muscles to fly. It looks as though a ghostly form is floating and trying to look like a bird and doing it.
It's so creepy. I love it.
As he flies above you, you see that, unaccustomed to his form, the back end and tail feathers of the raven are in the ceiling as he's floating above you.
He's like clipping through it like a video game rendering poorly.
Yes.
Okay, well, just keep to rooftops. Just generally out of sight, if at all possible, because it would be weird for someone who's trying to pass themselves off as an urchin had a ghost raven following them.
As you wish.
Thank you. And she'll turn to Anscombe and say, "All right, shall we?"
Anscombe nods as he gathers up his gear, and he says, Let's take this carefully."
I don't know what that means, but I will try to do so.
Let's not step on any toes. Is that better?
I suppose.
Okay.
Generally a good talker.
Good. Lead the way.
Okay. We will go into Ferrum proper.
Okay. Looking at the city map, where do you go first?
So, Hallstrom told me that there were, let's see, 2 places specifically that I might get some luck in my search. One was the docks, and the other was, I wrote Gates, Heather Garden. Is that right? Or is it Gates, Heather Garden?
Well, okay, so Heather Garden is the name of that small section of town that's right outside the gates, and people often call that the Heather Garden Gate.
Yes, okay, that's the one. That's the other thing I wrote down.
You also notice, as you step outside the Marigold Academy, it is beginning to rain.
Oh, great.
As such, the streets are a little bit less crowded than they might normally be.
Okay, less witnesses.
Sure. As Anscombe is following you, he says, "Oh, this always bodes well."
I think you're being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Are you superstitious, Anscombe?
I hate the way you asked that.
It's just a question. There was nothing behind it.
Look, some legends and stories prove to be true, okay? So
like
it's
when
not...
it rains, that's a bad omen.
Yeah, just like that.
Instead of the accumulation of precipitation.
Those are some big words.
I think we'll be fine. In fact, it might even help us maintain a bit of cover and subtlety.
If you say so.
I do.
Great. And he's like waiting for you to...
I was walking and talking, sir.
Okay.
We're headed to the Heather Garden.
Okay. Which is quite a ways away, so there is a potential for some random encounters.
Oh boy.
Which means...
Oh yes, you are right. That is way across town.
Yes. Hold on a second. I need you to roll a D100 for me, please.
Okay. 57.
57. Let's see. As you are heading down the main stretch, there is a vendor who has an awning over their cart, so they are still out and selling their wares, but they look tired. They look like they've been out there for quite a while. And you see that part of their wares are some cages of chickens. However, you watch as a customer is approaching the vendor, looking at all the chickens, and one of the chickens looks very odd. Very unusual. I need you to roll an Arcana check for me.
Okay. Oh, that sucks.
That chicken is... Its feathers are red and black with dapples of blue across it with gray feathers underneath it. It's very unusual. It's a very exotic looking chicken. And as you are considering that strange chicken, the customer who's looking at it suddenly turns to stone. And the vendor, who was just kind of laying back against the counter, goes, "Oh, what? Help! Guards, help!" And there's a few guards around the corner, and you witness as these guards look over, and there is a statue of a woman with one hand up looking into this cage, just frozen. And the guards are running over, and they are confused. And you hear the vendor start to explain, she was and it's a baffling moment. What do you do?
I don't look at the chicken for sure.
Okay.
I avert my gaze completely. I'm going to assume that with my terrible roll, I have no idea what this creature is.
You have no idea. Not a clue.
I look at Anscombe. Did you see that?
She just turned to stone.
Yeah. I'm assuming it's the animal's fault.
I'm going to have Anscombe roll. He's not proficient in Arcana, but he grew up in a farm town,
He raised them,
so
yeah,
it's
on his
possible.
farm. Maybe he knows.
I'll roll an intelligence check for him. He rolled a flat 10, which I'm afraid is not good enough. He says, I've never seen anything like that before. I think the vendor has the right idea. We need to go find someone who knows. Do you know anybody who knows animals?
A druid? Or, I mean, I can only think of the teachers at the academy.
That's a little far, don't you think?
Agreed. Hold on. She's going to connect with Requiem, who's hopefully close enough nearby that she can communicate with him.
Yeah, you glance up and you see he is perched on the roof of a nearby building.
First she'll say, Requiem, in your many years, have you ever encountered such a creature that turns people into stone?
Let me roll a history for this doggo.
He is an old but good boy.
He is proficient in history. Requiem has just rolled a natural 20.
Are you kidding me? I love my dog.
He says, that unfortunate passersby has encountered a cockatrice.
Okay. Can she be saved?
There is a long pause as Requiem seems to be trying to remember something. And he says, I believe if she is forced to imbibe the jellies of the cockatrice's eyes, she will be restored.
Thank you, Requiem. She'll look at Anscombe and say, I think I know how to fix this. And she's going to walk up to the guards surrounding the stone woman.
The guards are now interrogating the vendor, who is looking appalled and apologetic, and this old man is basically saying, I don't know what happened. She was just looking at my wares, and then
Excuse me.
And the guard that was talking to him says, yeah?
I know what happened, and I can fix this if you let me help.
And how would you know what happened?
I'm a wizard. I know this creature is a cockatrice. Don't look at it, by the way.
One of the guards who was, glancing in the cage goes,
Yep, please don't look at that. It is a creature that turns things to stone if eye contact is made. I have no idea how this vendor got one, but the solution...
it was a livestock import. I purchased many chickens every day.
This is not a chicken, sir.
It looks like
Probably
a chicken.
unfortunate mix-up, but the guards maybe pay attention to him while I fix this.
So how are you going to do this? You didn't come through. Your mic is now not connected.
Hello?
I hear you, but I think it went through your laptop microphone. And now I don't hear you.
Are you COD?
Now I hear you.
Okay. Okay. I
Yes.
said I'm getting chicken's eyes out.
How?
Trees. With I don't know, a weapon? I have a dagger.
Okay.
Anscombe, I need you to help me kill this animal.
Oh. And the guards are looking and they say, is this illegal? I don't know. And the guard that first apprehended the Vander is like, no! It turned... Do what you need to do. And Enscombe says, oh, all right.
Just don't look at it, please.
Okay. Oh,
Blind fighting. That's
I
what you do
remind
best.
Yes, it is what I do. And Anscombe, he reaches into his bag and he pulls out a thick, like burlap blindfold, and he ties it around his head. He draws his longsword, and you see he takes this stance that's not what you'd expect. And for a moment, you get the vision of a farm boy waiting for a bull to rush him. Just a lower stance, hands spread apart, the longsword in one of them. And then, deftly and quickly, he suddenly lunges forward, stabbing toward the chicken in the cage that is actually a cockatrice. Now we'll roll an attack for Anscombe. And it is not at disadvantage, because this is what he do.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. It turns out a 19 hits a cockatrice that can't move.
Yeah.
And then, okay. So the cockatrice, after the first strike, the cockatrice is rattling around in the cage trying to get away from everything that's happening. Its eyes are darting in all directions trying to defend itself.
Please don't
but
look.
No one is looking at it.
Good.
And it is helpless against Anscombe's assault. And after 3 deft thrusts, the cockatrice is slain, and it slumps over in the cage.
I feel a little bad about this. It's a little fucked up, but all right. You've done it, Anscombe. It's dead.
I could tell, as he puts the longsword away, and he unties the blindfold, and he says, "Most of the time they are harder to hit than that, but
When it's in a cage, it's pretty easy. It's like fishing in a bucket.
it's fair."
Can I take out my dagger? And Requiem said, smash his eyes. And put them in the woman's mouth. Which is weird, but I could try to do that.
Anscombe says, "You're..."
Yes. He's very knowledgeable.
Oh, all right. I'm not going to ask. And the guards the guards are like watching this, and they seem to accept what's happening, because why wouldn't this happen today?
I feel like as a wizard with many material components, I'd have a mortar and pestle in my bag.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, so I'm going to remove the cockatrice's eyes, smash them up into jelly.
I need either a medicine or a survival check.
They're both the same. Anscombe, have you ever removed the eyes from livestock? Or
Anscombe,
butchered something?
like, he kind of you see his shoulders droop, and he says, "Yeah,
Can you help me?
yeah." He just, he kind of slouches and he approaches, and he says, "All right, I've done this not specifically with eyes before, but..."
I feel like you have a better chance than me. I did one job where I had to do something carefully with my hands, and I've totally ruined it. So
I can let me give it a shot. And
And I'll help. And she'll just backseat drive over his shoulder and give him advantage.
Are you proficient in survival?
No.
Okay. I need you to roll a survival check to see if
Okay.
you are helpful enough to actually give him advantage.
No. Not.
Two.
Not at all.
Okay.
Glad I didn't try to do it though.
Yeah, me too. All right.
Farm boy's coming in clutch right now.
Turns out. Okay. The first eye is destroyed as
No!
Anscombe rolls a natural 1.
No! Fuck. Shit.
As he removes the eye, it slips out of his grasp and rolls into the dirt, and you hear Requiem say, "Oh, that's no good." And Anscombe says,
Okay.
There's
Anscombe,
another. There's another.
calm down. Focus.
You're right. This is no problem. It's just weird, gross magic chicken eye." And
Yes.
he focuses, kind of gathers himself, takes the dagger from you again, and he tries again. That's much better. You rolled a 21.
Oh.
This time, he deftly separates the cockatrice's eye from the socket, and he passes it over, and you hear, it's like a gross, weighty feeling as it into the mortar and pestle.
Ugh. Oh, this is not how I thought her day was going to go at all.
Weird start. Yep.
Yep. She's going to mash it to a nice jelly.
Okay. It is remarkably preservative-like. It's like marmalade.
Okay. How many fluid ounces do you think I managed to get out of this?
Oh, maybe 3.
Okay. I hope I have a spoon in my bag.
You would have a mess kit. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a spoon. Ugh. I might get a basket after this. I take a spoonful, or as much as I can, onto the spoon, and I'm going to go to the petrified woman.
Okay.
And hopefully her mouth is open.
It's slightly.
It's just
Her
like-
lips are slightly apart as she was looking.
Okay, if my source is correct, this should fix her. So, in one hand she crosses her fingers, and the other hand she puts it in the woman's mouth.
As the jelly touches her lips, you visibly see the lips soften and return color. And as the jelly, it's easier to put the spoon into her mouth as the magic of this eye jelly goes into her mouth. And a moment later, it's almost as if by reflex, she swallows. And suddenly she's back. The color returns to her face, and she stumbles backward onto the ground, and she says, "Oh!
Are you feeling all right, ma'am?
Yes. I feel fine. What just happened to me?"
You were an unfortunate victim of circumstance. You were petrified, but you have been restored. Thankfully in one piece.
And the guards around say, "Right, and because there was no permanent damage, you'll not be going to the constabulary." And the seller says, "Oh, that's fine. Don't even worry about the price. It's you can have the remains for free because you were looking for something for dinner, if you said that right." And the woman says, "Yes. And Anscombe is
trying
like,
to give her the dead cockatrice?
yeah. And well, so it's clear this vendor, like, you buy a chicken, he cuts its head off and gives it to you.
Uh-huh.
So like Anscombe's holding the dead cockatrice by the neck, and Anscombe says, "Right,
Oh,
here you."
hold on. One check. I just want to check. And she's going to ask Requiem, is it safe to eat?
Requiem.
Poisonous?
I'll roll history.
Should I ask for a regular chicken and just keep the cockatrice?
With a 15, Requiem says, "I believe a cockatrice is simply a magic-imbued chicken, so it is likely fine for consumption."
Are there other elements of it that could be useful magically besides its eyes?
I don't know.
Okay, so out loud she's going to say, I believe that this carcass is potentially dangerous. I would like to take it for research purposes, and I'll gladly pay for a chicken for this woman to have.
And the woman looks at you and says, "Oh, that's very kind of you." And
It's no trouble.
the vendor says, That's fine with me. A whole chicken's 3 silver."
Okay, easy enough. I give him 3 silver. I give, I allow him to do his duty, which is cut its poor little head off and hand it to the woman.
He selects a fairly, like a good-sized chicken and does so. And the body of that chicken's handed to the woman, who says, "You're also very kind. I don't understand what happened, but it's fine. It's a weird aftertaste, though. I feel like I've had bitter coffee."
Maybe get something strong to wash that down.
"Thank you. I think I will. I'll stop by the..." And she, like, wanders off. And the guards, who it seems as though the situation's been handled, one of the lead guard that first happened is, like, looking at you, and he says, "We appreciate your service."
Oh, certainly. I'm a student at the Marigard right now, and I'm learning quite a bit.
"They'll have our commendation." And he, like, motions to the other guards, and they begin to move away. And the vendor, who is, like, very distraught by what just happened, says, Thank you. I'm sorry. I thought it was just an exotic chicken."
I'm gonna go up to him and place a gold in his palm and then close his fingers over it and say, "Thoroughly vet what you're selling next time, and we probably won't have to deal with this again.
It's never happened before. It'll never happen again."
Just don't look at chicken eyes, I guess. Just don't make eye contact ever."
"I guess. Thank you. Many other people had looked. Okay." And he just is, like, very flustered and embarrassed and nervous and glad he didn't go to jail for this silly mistake. And Anscombe is like, he's like looking at his hands that are covered in chicken blood, and he says, "Do you, like, can you clean this off?"
Some wet wipes. Are you asking me? I'm working on that spell, but I could give you, like, a handkerchief.
"That'd do."
I hand him a handkerchief.
He wipes his hands off. It's sticky. It's unpleasant. And he says, "I'll just keep this for now."
You can have. It's all yours. It's monogrammed. Yeah, it's pure silk. It's fine.
"I appreciate it." And that's what happens with that random encounter.
It was weirdly in tune with our skill set.
I mean, that's
The
how
dice
it
have
goes.
spoken.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I
proceed
wave goodbye to
on.
the vendor.
So that happened here. You still have quite a ways to go.
The visual of Lorna looking like a pauper in her ruffled hair and her street clothes. Just being like, "I'm a wizard, I can fix this," and then she does, is incredible.
Yeah.
They're probably just like, wizards are weird.
They certainly are.
It's true.
As you make your way down through the Ferrum Market toward the South Docks and toward the Heathered Garden Gate, unfortunately, I need you to make another D100 roll, as it is very far and you're crossing the entire town.
And it's raining the whole time. 7.
7. Okay, this is a quick one. As you're approaching the gate, the biggest horse you've ever seen enters the gate. It is taller than any horse you've ever seen, with thick black fur and a very long mane. It is massive, nearly breaching the large category. It is so big that there must be something wrong with this horse, or it is magically enhanced, or something. But as it is riding, and it clops past you with thudding hoof steps that vibrate the cobblestones beneath your feet, you see there is a very, very, very small and petite gnome seated atop it, who seems to be controlling it.
Okay. Is it the gnome that I saw at Bud's?
No, it's a different gnome.
Okay, all right.
Not all gnomes are the same.
No, I was just what are the odds,
This gnome is wearing a twin, like a leather vest with all sorts of, just like, it looks like there are chains going from pockets. And he's wearing a very fine felt hat that seems to be protecting him from the rain. And as you're walking by, there's not very many other people on the street, and he just kind of tips his hat to you, and he says, "Good day." as he's riding by on the biggest horse you've ever seen.
You have a beautiful horse, she calls out after him.
Thank you. As he keeps walking.
He's a little man on a mission.
Apparently so.
I will internalize the knowledge of this for the future.
As the tiny gnome on the giant black horse rides by, you arrive at the Heather Gate. It is guarded, as all the gates are to Farum, by numerous guards. They appear to be bored. The guards, as always, when you take a beat as a sentry, the newest guards you can always tell because they are the ones who are alert, whereas the veteran guards are the ones who have become complacent, as there's nothing to protect the city from here. It's here in the middle of basically populated Aurelia. No one's attacking Farum. It's kind of like the dead-end job. And so as you're approaching, one of the veteran guards just says, "Evening.
Good evening.
Y'all heading south?"
For a little bit, just to take a stop at the garden.
The guard looks at you, and he says, "Can you do me a favor?"
Sure.
Out on patrol, you're going to find Lieutenant Norbert. You'll know him when you see him, because he's the only half-orc in the guard.
Okay.
Just tell him... And he, looks like he's thinking for a long moment. He says, fine. And he pulls out a pouch from his back pocket, and he says, "Tell him Colbert's got his coin, and hand this to him. I owe him some coin, that's all it is."
Okay. She's gonna hold the coin in hand and say, "You're trusting me with this?"
Yep.
Oh, you're a good judge of character, sir.
Well, you see, if it doesn't get to him, I can say honestly that I tried.
You'd rather have some ragamuffin like me hold onto this coin than give it to him, huh?
You look like you could use it.
You're not wrong. Very down on my luck right now.
Mm-hmm. He's
Does he believe me?
It's hard to tell. He's looking at his gauntlet as he's picking mud out of the creases, and he's not really paying attention to you. So he just looks bored. He looks like...
Fair enough.
He looks like this is something to do. And he does seem honest when he says it will allow him to say that he tried.
Okay. She'll be like, "All right, thank you. I'll do that for you. Certainly, sir."
Appreciate it.
She's gonna keep going through. Look at Anscombe like, "What the hell?"
Anscombe just kind of goes... I don't know.
I'm gonna count the coin as we continue on to the garden.
It has 4 silver and 1 copper in the bag.
I think this will be funny, and I don't know how it'll be funny, Anscombe, because I can see already that you're curious. I am going to shake this up a little bit.
Oh.
She's gonna add 5 gold to it.
Anscombe goes, "You just have 5 gold to fuck with guards with?"
Yeah, I do, I guess.
All right. He just kind of shrugs and says, 5 gold can get you a lot.
I know. Don't you think he'll have a really nice day after he finds it?
Yeah, I do, actually.
I think that'll be fun.
Okay.
I like the way you think.
And that guy Colbert will be like, "What? I don't care if I go." It'll be... I don't know. I won't even see it, but I feel like it'll be funny. I don't know. Is that weird?
Anscombe's looking at you and he says, "Maybe a little, but it's a good kind of weird."
I'll take that as a compliment. And she'll pour the 5 gold into it and tie it back up and keep her eyes out for that half-orc guard that she was told to look for.
Okay.
Unless he's a jerk. And then I'm not going to give him anything.
Right, you're going to make that call?
I'm actually pretty insightful.
Oh, are you?
I can learn a lot just by looking at someone.
Okay.
In fact, and she's going to stop walking. She's going to turn to look at Anscombe, take his chin and pull him down so he's at eye level, and she's going to look very closely at him. And I'm going to insight check him.
Okay. He says, when you do that, he says, oh, great. Go ahead and roll insight check.
See if I can get anything out of this guy.
A 16.
Hmm?
First of all, you're pretty sure Anscombe was not prepared for it to be raining, as his armor is a little bit uncomfortable.
Oh, buddy.
He looks as though he is the sort of person who doesn't know where he's going, and so he's relying on someone else to make those decisions.
Mhm.
He looks as though he's wary, as though he's trying to keep an eye on, like his eyes are shifting as you're looking at him, so he's trying to make sure you're not being watched or followed or anything like that. And he looks startled by the sudden physical contact. He wasn't expecting to be touched. Maybe a little bit uncomfortable,
Yeah, fair enough. I have that effect on people.
but that's what you get with the 16.
So she's going to say, I see. She's going to give his cheek a little pat and step back and say, I can tell you have a good heart.
I try.
Yeah, I can just tell that. I'm very insightful, as I said.
Well, I thank you.
And you need, like, new armor for when it's, like, not ideal weather, because you look a little uncomfortable.
It is chafing in places. Yeah.
Maybe we'll stop and get a salve on the way back home.
Nope, it'll be fine. I just need to, when we get back, I just need to take it off. That's all.
Is it hard getting your armor off?
Yeah, it takes a few minutes. It can be a pain.
Interesting.
Why do I feel like that was a leading question?
It wasn't. Where's that half-orc?
I don't know. Let's keep moving. Okay. You're walking along the road just outside, south side of Ferrum. And as you do, I'd like to know what it is you're looking for, aside from the half-orc.
That's true. She's looking for the half-orc, and she's looking for shady folk. She has never personally bought drugs in her life, so she's not 100% sure what she's looking for.
Okay.
But she has this mental picture that, if she's heard a person described in such a way that she's, like you see a character in a movie, so you're looking for that
Okay.
archetype on the street. Or maybe she read about it because they don't have movies.
I see. All right. Go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
Can she have Requiem looking as well?
Yeah. It won't give you advantage, but he'll look
That's
as well.
I mean, yes, that's fine. I just wanted him to have his separate roll. So I'll do investigation.
Okay.
Dirty 20. And what would you like me to roll for him?
Also investigation.
Okay. Oh, terrible.
Requiem, you glance up and he seems distracted as he spots in a treetop nearby, hiding from the rain, are several squirrels that are trying to create a burrow in the wood of the trunk.
Just watching them.
Yeah. With a 20, you're in... It's not the slums, really, but it is very much packed dirt road with small wooden structures that are homes that look like they're the sort of homes that would contain multiple families in low income. And as you're looking around, you see between two buildings with a 20, you spot a woman who's wearing a dark cloak that looks as though it has been pieced together by many other cloaks. Who, if there is any person that is likely to be trying to make money in an unsavory way, it is likely this is the sort of person you're looking for.
Okay, so she will stop Anscom and gesture with her head in the direction of the woman she sees.
Oh. That may be, you might be up the right alley there.
Right. I'm not really sure how to go about doing this.
What,
You never bought... No, have you ever done something like this before?
I remind you, I grew up raising cattle, so...
I don't know what that means.
Ferrum's the first big city I ever been to.
They didn't have drugs where...
No, they had
I don't know.
alcohol.
It's the same thing, isn't it?
I guess, but you didn't get arrested for trying to get it.
You think you should, you know. It's not very good for you.
Is this the time?
No, sorry. I've never had a drink before, so I don't really know what I'm talking about.
You ought to try it before you knock it.
That's fair.
In moderation, it's fine. Anyway, let's go and see if we can talk to this lowlife.
Should we both do it? Do you think that'd be intimidating?
I mean, I look mud covered and ratty, and you look like you're straight out of an alley, so we'd probably be fine.
How should I talk?
Less proper.
Don't know how to.
You know, just slur a little bit and use slang and cut words off before you're done.
Okay. So privately to herself, she thinks, I'm going to replicate some of the help back in my manner.
Wow.
She thinks that privately. She doesn't say this out loud.
Okay.
But she's from Saris, so get ready for a terrible southern accent.
Nearby Tabernacle goes, goodness gracious. No, he doesn't. Okay. Okay. So
she's gonna loosen herself up.
You approach this individual who looks like this. You can mouse over to see what she looks like.
She looks like Helena Bonham Carter in pretty much any movie she's ever been in.
Yeah. As you're approaching, she's like, this woman is like leaning against the wall beneath the cover. And as you approach, she looks up and says, what you want?
What you got?
What?
Do you have anything for a good time?
She looks at you, she kind of tilts her head, and she is insight checking you.
Deception?
This is a deception. Which you're oddly good at.
Uh-huh.
24. Allow me to roll for this individual. I don't think she can even match that. Yeah. She looks at you and she says, I might, who's asking?
I thought it was pretty clear that I was asking, ma'am.
You don't need to ma'am me. We don't even know each other.
It's nice to meet you. My name is Fion.
She looks at you.
And this is Gus.
Gus? Hold on. I need to make a roll, Frank. You roll a natural one. So Anscombe goes, yeah, and Gus. And he looks extremely caught off guard, and she will have advantage on her inside check. Good lord. Okay. All right. She looks at you and she says, Chrissy.
It's nice to meet you, Chrissy.
All right. What kind of a good time are you looking for?
Looking for, I'm feeling a little hazy today, if you know what I mean.
All right. I think I know who you can talk to.
Yeah?
And she, like, gestures for you to follow her.
Can I insight to see if she's
Yeah.
thinking nefarious things?
Go ahead.
Alright. Nah, a 10.
She seems like
Like she
she's
wants to
got...
lead me somewhere.
Yeah, she seemed like she has business.
Okay.
As you follow her down the alley, and Anscombe follows you, aka Gus. Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
As she leads you down the alley, she says, You're wanting a hazy evening, you said.
I do.
I think I might have just the thing for you. And as she
Make it
rounds the
worth
corner...
your while.
As she rounds the corner,
She's a cop, isn't she?
Are you a cop? If you're a cop, you're going to tell me you're
You
a
have
cop.
to tell me you're a cop. If I ask.
Okay. As the woman says to you, I have some business for you. Gus, aka Anscombe, suddenly you hear him drawing steel, and he says, We're being ambushed.
About that?
And I need, because his blind fighting saw it coming,
Whoa.
we need to roll initiative. So I'm going to pull you to the Camp Watch Order map entirely for the purpose of placing tokens.
Okay.
I need to make a battle map that is basically just...
An alley?
No, just like a battle screen, basically, like a random battle sort of thing. As if this was a JRPG, I think. But here's the one that
Fucking
you met
Chrissy.
with.
Should have
And
assumed she was gonna betray
Here's
me.
the individual ganking you.
God.
Here's Anscombe. And here's you. Actually, you are a bit farther away. So you're about here. This is all happening in very close quarters, right inside this alley. So 10 feet away from you, Anscombe is being attacked as a rogue. Suddenly emerges from the shadows and draws a dagger, attempting to try and stab Anscombe underneath the armor. But his training has allowed him to see it coming. And so they do not get a surprise round.
Whew. I knew that bitch was trying to lead us somewhere dangerous.
You
I rolled real bad, though.
You rolled real bad. You called
Yep.
your ally Gus, and he also rolled real bad. So
Yep.
the cat's out of the
That's
bag.
fair.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. This is Lorna's first real fight.
It is, and it
Whoa.
is at the hands of criminals.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and roll initiative for me, and I'll roll it for Anscombe. Anscombe rolled a 7.
Probably still gonna be better than mine. No, I somehow did better. Oh gosh. I've never fought anything before.
Okay. As the fight begins, unfortunately, this is the way the initiative played out. The Chrissy, the first criminal that you spoke to, turns around and says, Can't have you knowing. And she is going to attack you.
Whoa.
She, from beneath her cloak, she pulls out her sleeve, and a dagger slips into her hand, and she rushes towards you.
Oh god. I have such a low AC.
She rolled a 12 to hit.
That still hits, but I'm gonna do shield.
Okay. So as she rushes towards you, darting low and coming up with the dagger, a shield comes up, and the dagger bounces off, and she will dart backward away from you. She's going. She does provoke an attack of opportunity.
I have a dagger.
Yeah, you can react by trying to strike her with a dagger. Go ahead.
With my +2 to hit, yeah, I'll try. Oh,
There-
6.
A 6 will not hit. As she
Swing
darts away,
wildly.
yeah, in reaction, you're like, ah! And you slash the dagger from your belt straight up toward her, and she just blocks it with her own dagger as she darts back, and she ducks behind the corner, trying to break line of sight. And she's going to try to stealth. I need you to roll perception for me, please.
Okay. 22.
Oh yeah, you see her. As she dips behind the cover, she thinks she's broken line of sight of you, but you can see her left shoulder and arm openly. It's now your turn. Anscombe has raised his longsword is out, and he's blocked a blow from the rogue that was attacking the other side.
So we're basically back to back, right?
Yep.
Facing our opponents.
Yes.
Okay. She's gonna trust that he'll take care of the one behind them, and she's gonna look forward at the woman she can see, luckily, and she's going to cast Chill Touch. So a spectral skeletal hand will appear just to the left of her shoulder and will take a swipe at her.
Okay. Is this a spell attack?
Yes, it is.
A 17 hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Cool. 5.
Okay. Chrissy recoils in pain as the ghostly necrotic hand grips right over her shoulder, and you watch as just like a bruise of broken capillaries appears, and she just and she clearly is not hidden. Anything else in your turn?
Nope. She's just gonna hold there, keep her eyes focused on the assailant.
Okay. Anscombe is going to slash with his longsword, and he's going to say to you, he's going to say, "Are we trying to keep one up?"
Yes.
You got it. And he, as you say the woman, he is looking at the man who tried to stab him and says, "Tough break, pal." And he swings the longsword very hard toward the man's neck. And I will roll the attack.
Fuck him up, Anscombe.
He's swinging two-handed. A 16 will hit. Oh, wait, I didn't do versatile. I gotta do it again. It's better. He deals 9 points of slashing damage to this
I would have killed Lorna.
individual. It half-helps this criminal. And as he does, he readies the longsword up, prepared for another swing, as the criminal will react by attempting to get into his guard. We'll see how he does with his dagger. That's a 7. You hear the sound of a dagger scraping off of half plate. Just a clunk, and you hear the criminal say, "This isn't looking good, Chrissy."
She did lie about her name.
She did not lie about her name. And he seems to be trying to be careful, but he's going to take another attack with his offhand weapon, which is a short sword. A 15 does not hit either. So again, you hear the armor Anscombe is wearing protect him from both attacks from these rogues. Back to the top of the order, it is Chrissy's turn, who, noticing that she did not manage to hide from you, she's going to try and do a trip attack on you to try and get her advantage. So that's a 13 to hit. I need
My
you to
shield's
make.
still up?
No, it's been your turn.
No. To the start of my next turn.
Right, but you cast shield
I
before
did,
your
and
turn. She
But it
attacked you, and then you
it
had your
doesn't
turn.
drop until the start of my next turn.
Right.
So it continues on until I start my next turn.
Okay. She went first.
Uh-huh.
She attacked you. You cast shield. And then your turn began.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hit me.
He's just rolling athletics. because she's trying to trip you.
Natural 1. She's not good on her feet.
Hold on. She could also net 1. She didn't. She rolled a 3. So, you are knocked prone. So you fall backward onto your back, which means that she has advantage on her next attack, which she will use an offhand dagger to try and stab you. With advantage, she rolled an 8 to hit.
That doesn't hit.
That doesn't hit. That doesn't hit anything. Okay.
Oh my God.
So as you stumble onto your back and you see her dropping with the dagger and an ice pick grip trying to thrust it into your chest, and you just you roll to the side and you hear the dagger slam into the dirt next to you. You are prone. It's your turn.
I don't need to be standing to continue trying to wring the life out of her with my chill touch, so I'm going to do that again.
It's true. Go ahead and roll your spell attack.
It's at her back now, so it's just going to go for her spine.
Okay.
22.
Yeah, that hits. That hits an adult dragon. 2 points of necrotic damage. Okay.
Bink.
Chrissy, you hear just, oh, you fight dirty, says the
I
rogue.
fight dirty.
Okay, I fight dirty.
You jumped me in an alley, you bitch.
I can't have you telling. And then,
I just want to press drugs.
for the guard, and
What?
Anscombe over his shoulder says, "We're likely not the first ones, I guess." As he's fighting this rogue, he will step forward into another brutal swing with 2 hands. Oh, he rolled a natural 1, which means I'm going to roll on a fumble table.
Oh no!
He's a follower. He's not a true party member. Let me see what happens here. Hang on. You
Hang
can.
on.
Why don't you roll the D100 for me?
Oh great. Okay. 97.
A 97.
Good, right? Or terrible.
Oh.
Oh.
As the criminal is ducking, Anscombe takes a wild swing, recklessly, and the criminal he manages to duck down just low enough that Anscombe's grip on the longsword slips, and as it does, the longsword slashes down, and he cuts himself in the leg.
No!
brutally.
Oh god damn it, Anscombe.
And he's, shit, okay, bad start, and he's limping as he deals 14 damage to himself.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
That would have dropped Lorna. That would have cut her head right off.
As Anscombe takes 14 damage, he's going to use his bonus action to second wind. And he just... fuck. And he's like holding up a finger. Just hang on.
Please keep it together.
Okay, so he takes 14 and then he's going to second wind, so he will heal for... Okay, he heals for 7. Okay, so he's looking better. He's back above half. he literally over-halved himself just now. Okay. That's natural 1. That's how it's going to go. It's now that criminal's turn, who says, "Don't worry, I'll finish the job for you." And he's going to lurch forward and try and stab Anscombe. Short sword out. And he's going to pull a swashbuckling maneuver. And he's trying to feint. Okay, a 15 still doesn't hit. I get to add a d6, hold on. Well, it has to hit, because Anscombe's AC is... Yeah, he hits. Alright, so hold on.
I'm gonna do silvery barbs to make you re-roll that. And I'm gonna give Anscombe advantage.
Okay. Silvery barbs.
Yes. Off from my back, upside down kind of, I see him do that feigning maneuver and I say, "Watch out!" And I'm gonna cast the silvery barbs to distract.
That becomes a 12 to hit,
Yeah.
which does not hit. So your silvery barbs makes the thief miss. And Anscombe, you saying, watch out, he suddenly, as he's holding onto his thigh, he just raises the longsword up, the hilt of it parrying off the attack, and he says, "Great, thanks." And he will stand back up. And now it's Chrissy's turn. Who you're prone. She's going to surge forward to try and get another attack on you.
I should have gotten up.
Shoulda. And this is at advantage as well. My God, that's an 11 to hit. Does that hit?
Yes.
Okay.
My AC is a 10.
Okay, so she does hit you with a sneak attack.
What?
It's a
Oh,
rogue.
she had advantage. Yes, you're
Yes.
right. Oh, fuck. This is Lorna's first stab wound, guys.
It sure is.
Oh, boy.
Okay, the dagger did 3 points of damage, and then the sneak attack did an additional 4 points of damage, so you take 7 total.
Oh.
You still up?
Barely.
Okay.
That got me good.
As the knife sinks in...
She was looking in Anscombe's direction when she gets stabbed.
And she says, "Eyes on me, pretty." And she will pull the dagger back out. And then she will hop back, and as she does, she draws out a short bow, which looks like she's going to use that next turn.
Oh, God. Where did she stab me?
Roll me a d8.
Oh, boy. 6.
Right in the stomach.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Right in the middle, just right above the navel. You're having a hard time breathing as the dagger's blade nicked the diaphragm. It hurts a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's your turn.
She's gonna realize her error in being so wide open, no combat training whatsoever, this poor girl. She's gonna stand up. And she's like gonna back wobble until her back touches Anscombe's. She says, "You still have those potions?" And she's going to cast Chill Touch again.
Okay, roll spell attack.
21.
Yeah, that hits.
I'm trying to wring her neck. 3.
3. Okay. As you hold out your hand to cast the Chill Touch, the ghostly hand grasps around her neck. And as she's holding the short bow, she reaches up to try and pull it off, and then the grip is getting firmer and more necrotic, and she drops the short bow trying to hold it until... and she falls over unconscious.
Okay.
On Anscombe's turn, you hear the clatter and clink as he reaches into a belt, and a potion is held out to you as he's handing it to you.
I'm gonna take it.
And he says, "Now this one. You handled that one?"
Yeah.
Right. And he will charge forward. And he's going to make another longsword attack. Another versatile one, using 2 hands. And he has advantage because of silvery barbs, which is good, because that was a 3. And then a natural 19. So he hits for a 25, versatile.
Destroy him.
You watch as Anscombe surges forward toward this criminal, the longsword in hand, and right before he gets to the criminal, he flips the longsword around, grabbing it in reverse grip, and just slams him with the hilt of the weapon, blasting him for 9 points of damage. And that criminal is immediately, like, almost comically, his body does a full spin, and flat on the ground. And Anscombe says, "Okay. Ow.
Good job. Yeah.
I did more to me than he did."
It's okay, I didn't see it, so it doesn't count.
Right. Okay. And he kind of leans down, and he, like, puts his fingers to the neck of the man, and he says, "Oh.
Oh. Did you bash his skull a little too hard?"
Maybe a little bit too hard. Oh, God, I'm not going to sleep tonight."
He tried to kill you.
He really did. That's true.
speaking of, and with her hands still pressed to the wound in her stomach, she's going to hobble over to the woman unconscious and she's out. I don't know if she's dying or
Let me look. And
should I use this potion on her?
Anscombe takes a look at the gaping stab wound in your abdomen, and he says, "No, you should drink that.
If she's dying, we'll lose our lead.
Give me a minute." And Anscombe will kneel down next to her, and he's going to perform a medicine check. DC's 10. He rolled a 12.
Ooh.
He stabilizes the woman.
Okay.
He says, "She won't die. She'll wake up in about an hour." So Trek Illerad told me. As he has, so the throat was like crushed where the chill touch had gripped it, and he basically like massaged it until the trachea reopened. And he looks at you and says, "Drink the potion."
Okay. That sucked.
That's a real fight. Ugh.
Yeah, they didn't want us to come out of that. And she's gonna pop the cork off of the bottle and drink it, which I'm assuming heals 10.
It does heal 10. It's a standard
back
healing potion. You heal it for an
full.
action.
Yes.
You watch and feel the sinew and muscle and even the bit of the diaphragm re-knit together. And it hurt, but then suddenly you're able to take a full breath as the wound is undone.
Is there a mark there?
Yeah, there's a scar. It's a hairline scar where the dagger went in.
That's my first scar.
Anscombe.
Anscombe looks up at you and says, "She meant to kill you."
Ah. She sure did. Why?
When you don't have much, you fight for what you have.
Suppose, but she said
Something about a he? We can't know about him? Something like that?
I guess we'll find out if we get her to wake up again.
That's the idea. We should tie her up, shouldn't we?
Yeah, you got any rope?
Sure. You tie her up. I'm going to search her pockets because I don't want her pulling out another dagger she kept in her drawers or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not going to think too much about that.
I'm just going to dig through her belongings to make sure she's not armed or has anything interesting on her.
Roll investigation.
Yeah. Oh, just terrible.
2. With a 9.
I'm a little rattled.
Yeah. With a 9, you find some loose linens that look like they were likely used for maybe bandages or something like that. You find a half-eaten ration. You find another dagger. And you find 5 arrows. You don't find any money. And you don't find anything interesting. I'm going to roll survival for Anscombe to tie her up. He rolled a 16. He ties her up relatively tightly, hands behind her back, feet bound, and she's slumped over on her side for the moment, and he looks around the alley, and he says, "You think this is as good a place as any to have a conversation?"
Well, they thought it was a good enough place to try to murder us.
They would know, wouldn't they? Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna check this guy for anything of value, or maybe he's got a map on him. I don't know.
Wouldn't that be convenient?
Prop her up against the wall, and we'll splash her with some water in a minute.
All right, and he does. Go ahead and roll investigation on the other criminal.
Maybe I can do a little bit better. Deep breaths this time. Ugh. Ugh.
Is it the same roll?
No, just
No,
barely
one
better.
With a
2 to a 3.
With a
Fuck.
10, you do find 7 gold pieces in addition to 6 arrows,
Okay.
a dagger and a short sword, and a suit of studded leather armor.
Your armor is better than this, right, Anscombe?
Anscombe looks over and says, "Yeah,
Okay.
mine's made by the Academy.
Well, I can't even wear armor. Don't know how.
You could train, I guess."
She pushed me over, and I went down like a sack of flour. I don't know if adding more weight to myself will be a good idea right now.
I said train, not just do it.
I suppose. Oh. I'm going to...
Anscombe just sits down and says, "I need a quick break here."
Sure, do you You had 2 potions, didn't you?
Yep. I don't want
And
to waste this one.
she's gonna look very pointedly at his thigh, like,
I'll be fine. Just give me a minute.
sounded pretty bad.
It was, but I'll be all right. And you see that he does look mostly all right. He just looks as though he's tired. He's maybe at 3/4 health after his second win.
Okay, alright, you take a breather. I actually want to try something. I've expended a lot of my reserve energy, but I can still cast a ritual.
Okay, what are you trying to do?
Just see if there's anything I might have missed, anything in this vicinity that might be magical.
Oh,
So she's gonna spend the 10, 11 minutes to cast Detect Magic ritually.
okay. As at the instant you begin casting the ritual, you hear in your head, "I am sorry I did not aid, but I was concerned if I revealed myself there would be more problems."
I appreciate it. I'd rather you stay and keep watch, and if you could, where you are. And she's gonna look up to see if she can spot him.
Roll perception.
I know it's getting darker and he's a foggy boy. Let's see. 14?
Looking up above the alley, you don't see him at first, but he's not trying to hide from you. And as you're looking around, it takes a minute, but on a nearby tree, you suddenly see a pair of white eyes peeking out from the branches.
If you could just stay there, let me know if you see anybody heading towards this space while we're still in it. Would appreciate it.
I will warn you.
Thank you, Requiem.
Are you injured?
Not anymore. I'm fine now.
You kind of get this emotional warmth of gratitude, like relief.
Oh,
But
I love him.
he remains watch and does not seem to notice anybody approaching. You're casting ritualistic detect magic?
Yeah, just to see if I missed anything on them that might have been more well hidden or anything in this alleyway.
Okay.
I'm assuming probably not. But
What
we'll
does
see.
a ritual cast by Lorna look like?
That's a good question. Let me see what the material components for Detect Magic are, if there are any. Verbal and somatic. Okay, I don't need any components. So she would sit down, very prim and proper, even though she's on an alley. Her clothes are ruined from blood and a stab wound and the dirt of being knocked over.
Yeah.
And she'll do the somatic gestures with her hands and quietly whisper under her breath the incantation it would take to cast the spell.
Okay. The detect magic, once it finally goes through, you detect conjuration magic, and as you're looking for it, you smell it more than you see it. It is this earthy, sulfuric smell. And as you're looking, the body of the dead criminal, there is a hint of it. Just seen, you can see it through the threadbare clothes of the tunic he's wearing. And you must have missed it when you first searched him. And as you go and look, inside of the tunic is a chest pocket. And when you reach in, you find 2 more doses of haze.
Okay. This is something. At least we know they're... I mean, obviously they're connected to what we're searching for or into. I mean, it's a shame we couldn't have just goddamn bought it.
I think we should work on a cut. Like, if we're gonna try this again with others, maybe.
I panicked. I didn't want to tell them your real name.
Right. That makes sense. But Gus is. I mean, I didn't know, so you caught me by surprise, and I tried to. I'm not an actor. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I understand. I'm not even sure how well I sold that, to be fair.
Well, it's clear they did not buy it. I'll say that.
Yeah. Shit. Okay, well, we found the haze. We have her, and I think we should wake her up and plot our next moves. What do you think we should ask her? Who is she working for? Why did she decide to try to kill us?
Yeah, that would be good. And maybe where that fucked up tree you were looking for is.
It's true.
It's got to be
You know
somewhere.
that's the person who's making. Sure. Okay. Lorna's gonna take her water skin out of her bag and crouch in front of the woman and just splash her in the face with it. Good morning, Chrissy. That was a little fucked up, don't you think?
She kind of scowls at you.
I genuinely just wanted to ask you a few questions.
So this is what you really talk like, huh? And it's clear that she's having a hard time speaking.
I suppose so.
What do you want?
I told you I wanted drugs. As you were stabbing me, actually, I said I just wanted to buy some drugs, and that was the truth. But now I have them, and she's gonna hold up the 2 vials. Because of your companion's immense sacrifice of his life. Because he's dead now.
You see her eyes kind of flit over to the body, and her demeanor just grows a bit more cold.
And that really wasn't on purpose, but he was trying to kill us. So, sorry about that and any grief or loss you are currently experiencing. But, what the fuck?
She like looks at you and she says, "You ever been hungry?"
I've been peckish.
Then you'd never understand.
Sure. We're from, I'm assuming, different upbringings, socioeconomic classes, if you would.
So what, are you gonna kill me now?
No. God, I didn't want to kill anyone. You kind of forced my hand on that one, and it wasn't even me who dispatched your friend here.
Oh, so what, he's gonna kill me? And
Probably
Anscombe
not.
says, "Not on purpose."
He'll just hit you too hard. No, we really just want to know what's going on with the haze. Because it's causing some problems and we want to solve them. It's really as simple as that.
Well, for the first time in years, my kids have eaten well. So, it wasn't a problem for us until fucking city coppers were all over us.
Reasonable people are taking this drug and flying into fits of uncontrollable rage. Of course it's a problem.
What are you talking about?
When someone takes this drug with impact, is what it's called, makes them absolutely batshit insane, and they start trying to murder everybody in sight.
You see that she averts her gaze, looking down.
Did you know that?
She shakes her head.
Do I believe her?
Roll an insight check.
Ugh. I didn't mean to roll twice. The first one was a 10.
She's hard to read, but maybe that's news to her.
Sure, I don't really give a shit if people sell drugs or take drugs, but this is a problem, obviously. And you feel some sort of dedication to protecting the person who's paying you, I'm sure.
She's silent.
When I said I could make it worth your while for this drug and this information, I meant it.
So what? I tell you what I know and then you don't turn me into the cops?
I could pay you too. Information is a type of commodity, and I believe in paying people fairly.
How much?
50 gold.
You see her eyes kind of widen, and she says, "Let's see it."
Sure, she'll take out her pouch and pour about half of it into her palm and say,
"Is there 50 gold in your hand?"
yeah,
She's looking at it, and she says, "Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry your friend had to die for this, but I was willing to work with you.
He wasn't my friend.
Whatever he meant to. I'm sorry.
Colleague.
Colleague.
You see that she's like rubbing the side of her head, where the chill touch had like bruised the shit out of her.
Sorry.
And she says, "It was going so well for so long. His name's Torlin.
Corwin?
Torlin.
Torlin. Okay.
And he hangs out in the park.
Okay. What does he look like?
She describes him to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a halfling with curly, kind of longish dark hair, and kind of a dour demeanor. She says that he frequently wears a red vest over, like, basically just kind of the pale off-white that is common among common clothes. You have a good description, and you would know him if you see him.
Okay. He's the one getting you to sell this? Is that what this is?
He's the one making it.
He's making it. He wanders this park, or is it the one inside the city?
He said the best place to hide is right under their noses.
Okay. So the one in the city. Okay. How did he recruit you to do this?
She, like, looks at the ground, and she says, "Promised I'd have enough to feed my family."
Well, I hope that's not a problem for a while, after I pay you for your service.
If you mean it,
I do.
then it won't be.
Good. I think everybody has their motivations for doing things. I don't think crime is inherently evil.
I didn't want to sling haze. I just couldn't keep a job. I have a problem with authority.
Some people do.
She just is looking glum and afraid and hurt, and on one hit point.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what he works out of, or have you only seen him in person in the park?
I've only seen him at the park. He doesn't...
Okay.
He's not open about what he does.
Sure. So you meet with him, he gives you the stuff, you sell it, you return with the profit and take your cut? Is that how it works?
There's a stump in the park. It's hollow near the bottom. He wants us to leave 10%. Sorry, leave with 10%.
And the other 90 goes to the stump.
Yeah.
Okay. And you just assume he comes by, takes it, goes on his merry way.
It's never there when we come by again.
Is that where he leaves the haze?
No, we meet to pick up the haze.
How many of you are there?
She takes a deep breath. I need you to make a persuasion check.
Oobly. 'Not bad.
21.
Mm-hmm.
She looks over at her dead colleague and she says, "Counting us, there was 6.
Okay, so there's 4 others.
But if you get him..."
Well, I'm less concerned about your colleagues and what they do.
Good,
it's
because
him
some of them
who's
are
the problem.
good people.
That's no problem with me. It's he who is doing this to the detriment of everyone around him that I have a problem with. How often do you meet to gain your supply? And how often do you drop off
I look.
what you make?
It's a... It changes.
every time it's a clear day, we watch the sky, and around lunchtime, if we see a certain symbol in the sky, we go meet at the park.
Symbol in the clouds?
Yeah,
Are they
it's
the
like
clouds
it's like writing.
in the clouds? Like
Yeah.
it's the clouds shape the symbol,
Yes.
and that means
I don't
meet
know how.
me. I'm giving you
Yeah.
the stuff, and all 6 of you, 5 of you meet
Yeah.
at the same time.
No. Me.
And she looks over at the dead individual, and she says,
Me and Doran would go at lunchtime, but others would go at different times.
Okay.
I don't know when they did.
Mm-hmm. What does your symbol look like?
Can I have my hands?
Sure. Hands go.
Okay.
Gus!
and she leans down, and he leans down and unties her hands, and she reaches forward and draws what looks like a very large cursive C.
Does it look familiar to me in any way? Ring a bell? Make me think of something.
Her name is Chrissy,
Oh.
and it's a large
Well,
C.
to be fair, the other guy was
Doran.
Doran. So are you out of the 2 of you, you're the one who calls the shots?
I was the one who handled the sales, so I got him killed.
You shouldn't really feel bad about that. I mean, we didn't want to kill him. Just self-defense.
Yeah, I made a bad call.
What gave me away?
She raises an eyebrow and she says, Gus.
I mean, shit. This is my first time. I'm sorry.
And he doesn't exactly look like the sort to be buying drugs either.
And he says, well, I never
See, I
have.
asked you about that, and you said you were fine.
I'd have bought it, but then, Gus, really, it all fell apart.
That changed you. Okay, I see. Well, we'll workshop that. I appreciate your honesty. When would you leave your cut in the stump?
After I sold all my haze.
So he would just check it you'd assume periodically, just waiting for you to.
Maybe he knows. Maybe he watches it. I have no idea.
Okay.
It's not really my business.
Does that method in which she is alerted sound like a spell I might be familiar with?
Roll Arcana?
Because the player knows what it is. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, you know of the alarm spell. You're very familiar with...
I'm not talking about the alarm spell. I'm at the skywriting.
Oh, yeah, you know what Skywrite is.
Yeah, okay. Is it wrong for me to come to the conclusion that this halfling is probably a druid or is working with one?
Probably.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Or they have access to natural magic somehow.
Which makes sense if they're cultivating this fey tree.
You also know, with that high of an Arcana check, if they're a person capable of casting Skywrite, they're pretty strong. Maybe above your pay grade.
So, is Torlin, that was his name, is he the highest up in this that you're aware of?
I guess he only came into town maybe a few weeks ago, and
Okay.
since then it's been easy money. At least that's what he said, and for the most part he was right. Till now.
Sure.
Had a lot of guards searching though. We had to keep changing where we were selling.
Sure, it makes sense after the repercussions of this substance.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Why would you know about that? You're just doing what you were paid to do.
She looks
I-
pretty glum as she's not, like, making eye contact.
I appreciate your honesty. I'm sorry it had to go this way. And I will pay you for your trouble. I hope it makes up a fraction of the trouble that we caused you.
With 50 gold, I'm getting out of this town.
That's probably
We
for
are
the
out of
best.
here.
Okay, I'm gonna take that 50 gold I'm palming, and the 7 gold I got off of Doran. That was his name, right?
Yeah.
And put that on top of it, and then I'm gonna put it in her hands.
You see that
Stand
she has a hard time, like she almost smiles, and she says,
Thanks.
she doesn't, she's still not making eye contact, but she does take the gold. And she says,
You might have just saved my family.
I hope you have a better run of it somewhere else. I do, Kersey.
Me too.
and she
Thank you.
looks down at her feet, and she says,
Hey, big guy, you mind?
and the Anscombe, right, yeah, okay. And he looks at you, like as if checking
Yeah,
to be sure.
a sense, sure, of course.
Anscombe unties her. And as she stands up, you see she kind of looks between the two of you, and she says,
I'm out of here tonight.
Okay.
My family's gone, so may this be the last we see of each other.
I hope so.
she reaches down and she picks up the dagger that was set down, and she puts it back into a secret place in her coat. She looks at both of you, nods, glances down at the body of Doran.
I shrug.
And she just walks away.
Okay. Well,
I
we got...
didn't think that would go like that.
Me neither, but she was just in a shitty situation.
I can relate. But man,
Should we... She's gonna look down at Doran's body.
we should tell the guards.
Sure, it's gonna be like, oh, what the fuck, you know? Should we go straight to the constabulary and report this, so we don't have to explain that we're doing this on behalf of the local authorities in conjunction with the Marigard? You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. That's
Should we leave
probably
him
the
here?
smart
Should we
thing to do.
bring him? Should we just kind of put something on top of him and be
We
like, this is where you can find him?
No, we should leave him where he is, how he fell, and we should not fuck with it.
Should I write like sorry and like?
Nope. Again, just leave it as it is.
So I don't know the general process for this. I'm sorry.
You really are new to this.
I was, and this might be surprising to you, but I was a little sheltered as a child.
Really. And you see he's just, like, his face is flat. And he
I
says,
generally wasn't allowed out of the house.
oh.
I mean, I had like a run of the neighborhood.
What made you sign up to be an adventurer?
I change of pace.
That's like going from a crawl to a sprint.
Sure.
You don't have to tell me. It's fine. It's unusual.
In the most honest way I can put it, Anscombe, I lost the only family I had.
He kind of tips his head and says, sorry to hear that.
Well, sometimes you have to learn to run really fast.
Yeah. But look on the bright side. If you pass your exams and everything, you might find a whole new family right here in the Marigard.
Maybe.
There's some pretty cool people here, I hear.
So far, I've been impressed. Let's, should I find that guard?
Probably.
The one that yeah, I've got this cash, and I wanted to make his day. Is this blood noticeable? He's gonna point to her
mean?
midsection.
Your own? Yeah. You look like you've been stabbed.
Do you have like a jacket or like shawl on you.
He, like, looks down and he pulls open his satchel that is hanging around his back. He kind of pulls it to the side. He looks in. He says, I got a training coat. Will that work?
Sure.
Okay. And he pulls it out, and if you put it on, you're wearing padded armor, basically.
Like a parka, basically.
Yeah.
It's better than, it's less jarring than the blood.
Yeah, you look like you just got done training, so.
Yeah, I'm tough, don't I? She flexes.
Yep.
Yeah, I believe you. All right, she's gonna look up to where Requiem is in the tree and say, "Can you help me find this guard?" And then we'll be on our way. Just a quick pass over to the park. The gardens.
One moment. And you watch as the raven ghost flutters out of the tree and back over the road. And it only takes a moment before you hear him coming back and says, "He is 100 feet down the road."
Wow. Nice. Thank you, Requiem. He's right over there. And Scope, let's just get this out of the way, report the things, see if they want us to tackle this any further, which I really hope they don't. Because I think it's kind of above our...
I imagine they'll want this to be in the guards' hands.
Yes.
As we are just, we're students.
Right.
On a free agency, so it's not...
I think we learned a lot. What do they want from us? They wanted us to find a cellar. We did. And she looks at Doran. What it's made of. And we know exactly what it's made of. Who's making it. And where it came from, kind of.
Well, we don't really know where it came from. But
Well,
we have
know
an idea.
They've cultivated this fey plant and made an abomination out of it.
So, wait, you mean you think this is from the Fae? From the...
I don't think it's from
fair?
the... I think they have a druid amongst them. If Torlin isn't one. Who managed to cultivate this plant in all of the wrong ways. I don't know what their purpose is for making it, other than to raise money. It seems like they did it on purpose to cause these bouts of rage.
Well, then why didn't she know anything about it?
She's just selling it.
Oh, you mean just kind of... Okay, I follow. It was an... Okay.
It's really up to the guards at this point to figure out the purpose behind it, but we've given them all of the pieces to work with.
Yeah, I don't really feel like contesting with a druid that can write in the sky, so...
Yeah, it's very high-level magic. It's well beyond my grasp.
Yeah, let's,
But we can tell them the exact stump and the time of day that the symbol will go up, and they can ambush him immediately. Torlin, this halfling.
Sure. I mean, it sounds all good to me.
That's the plan. Okay. Lieutenant Norbit is the man we're going to go meet right now.
Okay, lead the way.
I will.
And he follows you. And we go back to the map of the city. You hear the sounds... Oh, he's gone. You hear the sounds of Requiem gently flapping above you. Well, flapping. He's floating with the effort to look like a bird. And as you make your way, sure enough, 100 feet down the road, there is another guard post. It looks more like an outpost or a checkpoint, the sort of thing where guards would deal with a lot of traffic coming in, but there isn't any. And you see there are two guards, both with helmets off, and one of them is clearly a half-orc. It looks like they are playing cards, standing up at the post.
Okay, I approach. Excuse me,
Yeah, can we help you?
Lieutenant Norbit, is that you?
That's me.
I have been sent as a messenger for, what was his name? Colbert. Does that sound familiar to you?
Yeah, Colbert, I know him. He's the gate guard, usually.
He owes you some money, and he trusted me to give it to you.
That he do.
She holds up the bag and shakes it.
He reaches out and takes it from you.
Apparently he made a good call.
His eyebrows raise as he says, And he looks in the bag and he says, "That's a lot more than I remember lending him."
I think he felt bad about how long it was taking to pay you back.
Good fella. Thanks for making that delivery.
Of course.
Could think of less savory folk would wander off with such a package.
Well, maybe it's safe to assume that some people have better motivations than we think they do.
You're right about that.
And he pulls one of the gold coins out of the bag and boom, flicks it toward you as a tip.
Or catch, or try to.
You can roll it if you want. I'd allow you
I
to
do.
just catch it. Okay.
I do want to
Roll a
roll it.
dex. Roll a
She's-
sleight of hand.
She's so bad at this. Oh, she rolled pretty well.
Yeah, with an 18, you catch it, as if you meant to.
Thank you for your kindness and your generosity, sir.
Thank you for your honesty.
And he kind of looks at the other guard, who just goes, "Yeah, it's pretty good."
I'll do a little bow, polite gesture, and then we'll turn back to the city, to the constabulary.
Okay. And as you head toward the constabulary to make your report, that is where we're going to end the session.
Okay.
Well done.
Woo!
You handled that well. You performed good investigations. You learned more, and you survived a fight that you very well could have died in.
Barely survived that fight. I had 9 hit points, and she took 7 of them in 1 hit. And I was like, oh,
man.
fuck.
She had a
She
1d6.
cannot hit me.
She had a
cannot
1d6
hit
sneak
me.
attack. Yeah,
If she had hit 6, I would have been out.
Yep.
Ugh.
Woo! But
Ugh, level 1.
level 1. Level 1. Anyway, you're
That-
almost done with it, so well
Almost done
done.
with level 1?
Well done. We'll play more next week.
Yeah. I had these 2 things I wanted to like do, but the investigation took precedence, so next time.
Yep. Next time. All right.